Good evening here from the same place, maybe a different time for you. Here it's already late at night. And today I wanted to share some thoughts about the role that idols play in our own personal lives. You know, if you think about your childhood and you think about those tiny, precious moments of affection where somebody touched your heart in a way that you became curious, you wanted to learn from them. Maybe to some of you, there were family members. Maybe an aunt or an uncle who came to visit you every once in a while, or maybe grandparents. Maybe you've had teachers. Maybe you listen to some artists, or you've read books about people who invented things. And maybe there were even kind of superheroes that maybe were superheroes. Maybe you like comics, and you found that Superman and Batman and Spiderman and the Ninja Turtles, maybe for a moment you tried to be like them, to do their moves, like fighting, or you just imagined yourself to be a Spider-Man and how it would be if you would have the power of spinning webs around the walls and swinging around the ceilings. Or maybe they were those quiet heroes. Maybe there were other women whose stories, whose life inspired you. Maybe, throughout the years as we change and the seasons go, so did maybe some of those idols. And I wanted to remind you to think about the amount of time they spend in your life. They shared your heart with you for a certain time. And they have taught you something. And what they taught you was maybe to be strong as a dragon when you were at school. And maybe you were shy, or you needed to speak in front of the crowd, and you just imagined how would Hulk resolve the situation? How would Spider-Man fight the enemies, on the schoolyard in the break. And I believe that, I believe that there might be differences, maybe, for women and men as well. And everyone who is between those two genders too. There might be people that you looked up to because you wanted to be like them. Or they had special traits, or to you they were special. Traits and characteristics. As children it becomes very, very easy. We try to mirror them in a way. We don't think about if that's right or wrong, or why would I do that. We just, for that one moment in time, we become our own heroes in a way. By imagining our own heroes at that moment. And as they are very special and unique to you, I truly believe that they always reflect a part of yourself that is already there. Because if it wouldn't be there, you wouldn't notice that. Because you have eyes to see that specific trait. And for some of those heroes and idols, it becomes very obvious. A lot of young boys, they pretend to be Spider-Man. At least when I was young. But at the same time, if you think about the people that inspired you, comics or not, they could be very real in this 3D world. With the years, they may be more subtle. They became more subtle. And you just start to notice specific traits. And in a way, as we grow older, we don't spend so much in our own personal fantasy world, which, if you think about it, can be something really beautiful. That if you imagine one small guy, one small boy, who goes out into the park and he just does like and he's just living in that fantasy, And if you couldn't tell him that he's not Spider-Man because he feels him. And for that specific moment, this fantasy becomes real. And I believe there is a treasure in that magic, because it is truly magical. The same boy who might be fearful of the heat of the heat of the tree in the park. Through that power, through that fantasy of Spider-Man, through believing that he could be him, he is managing to climb on those trees. And once he gets up there, he truly believes that it was real, that the power that he became Spider-Man for a second. As adults, we, I believe, need to pause for a second and really try to remember that magic. And you can still think about, as I said, like go back throughout the years and think about the names of the person that has inspired you. That could be one way to access that magic. Another way could be to look at your current situation. If you have something on your agenda that you're working on, that you're planning, maybe a situation where you don't have the answers that you would like to have. Maybe one situation where you need to be brave, or you need to make a decision. And you could think about, you could ask yourself, who do you know who was in a similar situation? And by asking that question, you might be surprised of the answer that you get. You might find idols who weren't so obvious to you before asking that question. But no matter which way you want to look at the topic of idols for you personally, I believe that they will always reflect a part of you that you already possess, that you already have within yourself. And that part comes out through your own eyes and your own perception of this world in form of an idol. And even if you're not able to spin a web like Spider-Man, you will find the strength within you to climb up that tree. And Spider-Man reminded you of that. So I wish you wonderful insights into the role of your own idols for your personal life. And and yeah, maybe, and the awareness that in a way it always reflects a part of us. And if you still find it hard to believe, you can look at your life and see what you have overcome and where you are today. And I'm sure that if you would be talking to your younger self, don't you think that every once in a while there would be moments where this younger self would be very honest about a lot of things, but also about the moments where you find or re-find that magic, that especially when you were in those moments of magic, I'm pretty sure that that younger version of you would say, that was pretty cool. So I guess that was the message for today, or the thought that I wanted to share with you around idols. And see you in the next one.